G'day everyone, it's Matt Rard here, CEO and co-founder of eBusiness Institute. And today I'm really excited. I've asked one of our past graduates to come back and give us a little bit of an update as to where things have gone for him in terms of quitting his job and earning money online from his new digital skills. Because Andy, you may have seen our earlier interview with Andy, he had great success with our program, Retraining in Digital, and getting out there, building websites for local businesses and also in his own portfolio sites. But Andy, welcome and thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes, good to see you again, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's so great to hear where you're up to. So give us a quick recap of what you did with us when you're on Champions and then where you're up to today. So you basically started out with us on Champions learning how to do all these digital skills like build and buy websites and things. And which strategy did you mainly decide to go with over that year on Champions program?
We're sticking with the local business strategy.
Awesome. Cool. And Andy, first of all, we should say, where are you located?
We are in the state of Wisconsin in the United States.
All right. So not down here with us in Australia physically, man. So this is super cool. And you basically had to retrain because one of the reasons you came on the Champions, you want to explain what was happening there in your life at that time, because it was a bit of a challenge, wasn't it? Like, as it was for a lot of us back in COVID times, 2021, whatever it was.
Yes. Yeah. So I was just coming off of a business that we had an existing successful business and then try to come up with something new and failed at it and ended up costing us the whole business. And that was, I call it a successful failure, but I'm a glass half full guy. But that was a 12 or 13 year business. So, and had nothing to do with knowing how to build websites or anything like that. So I came in knowing, as little as anybody else, not even anything about websites. In fact, when I came in, I was mainly just attending the trainings because my wife was also really into learning. She's more technical than me. And then just as a recap, I know I said it in our interview before, but I was lucky enough to have a Zoom meeting with you. And I told you what I was doing, and I was chasing shiny objects, like bright, shiny objects like you like. And he told me, Andy, I'm going to change your life in this call. And I think that's great. Who doesn't want to hear that? And it's a year later, and you certainly have. So I like to say I'm so grateful for the Champions program and for you and Liz.
Thank you. And is that why you booked in this call to give me the update? Because it is literally a year later, isn't it? That was when we did that. You and I did the famous Zoom call together where I said, I'm going to change your life, because I could see you had the skills to do this really well. And just so you know, what I said to Andy was, and I'd say to anyone listening to this, mate, just learn these digital skills like we teach here at the eBusiness Institute. Learn how to build a website, learn how to get it ranking in Google, and it can change your life. Depending on where you want to head as well, because it doesn't just allow you to buy and sell your own portfolio of websites, which Andy's also doing, but also it can allow you to get out there and generate some pretty quick cash flow. So Andy, fast forwarding today, this is kind of the anniversary of that famous call. Yes. What's your cash flow situation like? How have things panned out now since you finished studying with us in that first year? And it was a earn while you learn type year, especially for you. But how have things gone now that you're a graduate and you've really settled into this?
Well, the trajectory is fantastic. And so I have high hopes for myself. So I don't feel like I'm there yet. But compared to a year ago or when we first started the program, it's been unbelievable. And I think coming from a business background, and many of your students should think of in terms of a return on investment, the cost of the Champions program compared to the return that you get. And we almost doubled the return on the first year, even though you did say it was a learning year, not an earning year. But there's two things I didn't listen to you on. That was one of them, and I proved you wrong. The second one, which was an e-business site, that you proved me right. So that's maybe for another interview. But so far this year, so we're just starting February, and this year we almost got the full price of the Champions program in January, and we're looking to almost get that in February. So now those are a great start for us. And so the
Yeah.
return on investment financially is one thing to say, which has been fantastic, but it's also done a lot for our family coming off of a shutdown business. And it was
Yeah.
cash flow was tight, so we had to make a move. And just really excited about what we've learned and just in the future. And again, once again, we're so grateful.
It is. Then thank you, Andy, for sharing that too. That to see, like you just said, your ROI in just January alone, you did like well over $10,000 in sales, and well beyond that, and got basically your champions fee back in one hit. This is once you learnt it, and this month you're already up to getting very close to doing that again.
That's right.
Plus, though, like you and I have been having a bit of a chat about how you're structuring this business, and the other option too that you're doing with these skills is building up these local sites as assets for yourself. So now you can see a path there where this will now hope, like you said, the trajectory should go. Remember Matt's graph, it goes exponential.
Right. Yeah.
So
yes.
but we need you to get you that knowledge. And so are you feeling that now? Can you see that trajectory? If you and Nora look out over this next year as a family and everything, and like you said, what you've been through, you've got a few different really cool projects on. You're doing a really good job helping your clients out there. I mean, I know too, you've implemented this really well. So hats off to you. You're really good working with the clients. But yeah, do you see that trajectory? How do you see that trajectory going over this year?
Well, I see it on the right, the right trajectory. I would say though, just like in anything in sales, I like to brag about these 2 good months, but we know that there's ups and downs in sales. That's Absolutely. why networking and continuing prospecting is so important. And when we start thinking about these local sites and the portfolio sites and the owning it, when we're trying to develop some passive income, when we can the way I see it is if we can build that up to almost like a salary, if you will, or some type of pay that becomes relatively steady each month, that really helps your lifestyle, as you know, of course, right? So then that's your base, and then your sites that you sell individually is just the icing on the cake. So in the beginning, there's still ups and downs, but the ups are higher and the downs are lower. So that's great.
So one of
I said that wrong, man. The ups are higher and the downs aren't as low.
Yeah. The ups are higher. Because I want to point out, Andy, to everyone listening, I really like your situation that you and Nora have decided. And you guys have now gotten into the flow with this, right? And you've got the skills, and it's kind of completely flipped. I'd forgotten that. It was actually Nora who came onto the Champions program, and she wanted to get out of her job. But now you guys have realized, hang on a minute, we've got really good financial security, because Nora has quite a good job in the medical field. So she's decided to keep that to stabilize the family income. And now yours is kind of like, just, you guys must be in a very nice financial position now, like getting with what you're doing there.
Well, yes, certainly in a better position than I think we would have had we not been accepted to the program. But yeah, I mean, we had a rough end, but it's positive, right? So, and I say my wife Nora is my first techie. Because I can ask her something and she figures she still knows, and our goal is to do this full time with both of us. But you're right, having my income still fluctuate up and down, hers at a steady job that just provides some extra security for us. It's still our goal. It's still our goal to have her come over, and I think the portfolio type strategy, building up passive income, is our key to replacing her salary, and then check it off as a goal that we accomplish.
Yeah. So Andy, this is just so unreal. Like, to hear this quick update, and as you know, we're very passionate about the champions community. And pretend all the champions are sitting there listening to you, Andy, because they're all going to listen to this interview, right? This is for them. I want them to see what happens a year after you finish champions. What advice do you have looking back? Because you like you said, you look at the last couple of months and financially it's gone very well for you doing this stuff. Think where they're at right now. They're at boot camp number 2. You remember what that was like, boot camp number 2? What's your advice to these guys?
The first one is don't quit. That's the first one, because at my first piece of advice, don't quit. The first boot camp, we were learning things that were so outside of what I knew. I would look at my wife Nora and say, "Well, I mean, I don't even know what language this is," and
Yeah.
sometimes somebody has a reason. We all have some type of difficulty. Where I came from, mainly a sales background and
Yep.
the ability to negotiate and close deals. And that is a big challenge for a lot of the people a lot of the champions who don't have that background, but maybe they have a background that's more technical savvy than mine. Either way, you kind of need them both. So I had to really spend time on the technical stuff, getting up to, I'm a dinosaur. I mean, I'm a dinosaur. So I had to really work on myself for that. So I would say to the champions, if you have a network of people and you have the ability to negotiate and close, maybe that's a benefit. And if you have the technical ability too, you're gonna sail fast. For me, I had to spend a lot of time developing the technical stuff. So once I had something, I could sell it. So my advice is, there's not many of us that have those both, because we probably wouldn't need the champions program.
Yeah.
So don't quit.
Yep.
Focus on what you aren't good at yet. Attend all of the classes, and certainly the SEO lunches with Matt. And you can do it. You can do it. And by the way, the support, it was unbelievable. So it just was, we'd have a technical issue and somebody would help. I mean, it's been great, but
Awesome.
You got to keep a positive attitude. You got to think you can do it, and you just can't quit. You got to keep going, even when it's not. Maybe you get laughed at your first pitch. Who cares? Go on to the next one.
Yeah. And Andy, that's something I love about you, what you've done. And I think all the champions, last year said the same. It was just to see you, when we did that famous interview with you at the end, where in life, you'd been through a few things, and like as you found, a lot of champions have, a lot of us, when we're a little bit older, that life's an interesting journey, isn't it? Sometimes. And for you to just stick at it, I think that's what you kind of, you live the champions ethos, which is just stick at it, turn up every day. It's not particularly difficult. It's just turning up every day, being consistent, and look what happened for you. And hats off to you. You made this work. You're not a technical person. I know, doing some calls with you. There was some,
true,
we won't say tears or anything like that, but it's like, man, how do you build these websites and stuff? And like you said, you got the support of the community there and the coaches and things, and myself and Liz. And so hats off to you. You and Nora made this work, fit your family lifestyle. And now I'm super pleased to, it is awesome to be able to do this update so everyone can hear. Cool. Everyone's journey is different, but hats off to you for achieving what you did. It's really well done.
Yeah, and it's been a great ride and exciting. And one last point on reaching out to the community is we developed a business relationship with a past member of the champions. So she was way more technical and has way more knowledge and skill than I do. So when I get into things that seem outside of my scope a little bit, we work with her, and it's just first I get to learn from her. She does great, and her team. And then it's just a win-win, right? So if I get into something that's over my head, I've got a champions friend, a champions, person to work with that can really help us through things. So I'm grateful for that as well. I wouldn't, of course, know her without networking in champions.
Yeah, that's awesome. And mate, big thank you to you talking about the champions community. You've just helped inspire so many of this year's champions as well, and anyone else listening to this. I thought we'd share this with everybody so you can see what we do here, and to see someone like Andy, who's total beginner online, was at a stage in life where they had to make some serious changes financially in their lives. This was back in COVID in 2021 when Andy did that year with us, and into 2022. As we all know, that was a challenging year for everyone around the world. And, Andy made it work, and this was his path. He decided to, it's funny, his wife has stayed as kind of like the stable breadwinner whilst he's been able to learn this, and now very quickly replacing their income and into a significant, 5-figure a month income, $10,000 plus every month. This is, can be the path for you. So if you're interested in learning about what we do here at Champions and stuff, go and check out our free masterclass, see what we do here at the E-Business Institute, have a look around, go and look at some of the other success stories, and go and recheck Andy's very first interview that we did with him. It was very popular with our community, and I'm sure, Andy, there will be more updates from you. We'll do an update every year, I think, because you're so inspirational, mate, for all of us. And big thank you from all of us for coming back to inspire everyone in our community.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you. Please, thank you to Liz as well. Thank you.